if I wanted to, I could really go hard on this subject. But right now, because a lot of things are going on in my world that occupy my time, I'm sort of inundated. But I still think it's noteworthy to bring up a few points. I did a video just a couple days ago about the young 25-year-old black man that was shot and killed in Akron, Ohio by 8 police officers in a hail of over 90 bullets, 60 of which was reported to have hit the alleged suspect. And most people that heard this information, saw the videos, believe that 8 police officers firing over 90, maybe 100 rounds at a fleeing on foot suspect was rather excessive. Now, this is not about, in my estimation, your opinion. This is not about police officers being threatened. This is about, I don't care if there was a gun involved, not actually involved. Let's strike that for a moment. It is said that they found a gun in the suspect's abandoned car that had no bullets, had not even been fired, lying on the floor or the seat in the vehicle, along with what is presumed to have been a wedding ring, potentially. That was in the vehicle afterwards, and no gun was found on the man who was running, Jayland Walker, I'm sorry. No gun. But you know, what's the policy if someone is running away? Now, I don't want to say with Akron, Ohio police officers, what's the policy across the board in America when someone is fleeing and you are in pursuit of that individual, that someone? Who do they pose a threat to, or who are they posing a threat to at that moment? And does it warrant such a hail of rounds or bullets being expended towards the direction of that suspect? Now, I'm going to ask this question within what I just asked. How many bullets does it take to stop someone from running? First question, should you be shooting at someone running away from you who's not firing you or engaging you? That's one, they're running away. Okay. And how much force is too much force? Would it have been okay if it was a machine gun that the police officers were deploying in his direction? Maybe 400 or 500 rounds. So I'm sure if you use a little bit of logic, if someone is running and you fire a few shots and 2 or 3 shots hit you, you would immediately be falling down. You're not going to keep running, because the caliber weapon that they carry is not a very small caliber weapon. It is one to stop a man. 9mm in most instances. So once you get hit by 2 or 3 rounds, you're going down. So where does the other 60, 70, 80 bullets come from? What's the logic behind that? Because if I'm running or someone else is running and pow, 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 you get hit, you go down. If you're down, wouldn't that mean that there should be a cessation of firing? Or you should stop shooting? Or were you being fired upon even when you were on the ground? I can't see you still standing and you have 60 rounds in you. I don't see that. And I'm military. I just don't see that. What do you see? What do you think? Why 90-something rounds into a 25-year-old's area where he's running away from you or fleeing you? So, as I said in the previous video, there's some damage control being done, some stories being corroborated or put together, a case being built to protect the reputation of the police department, if there ever was a good one. I'm not saying it was or was not. I'm just saying damage control. That's what they do, right? Make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Make sure that we don't look as bad as the public sees us. So I hope that there's going to be a very, very fair investigation, and I know it's ongoing now, and I hope that it's not diluted. I hope that there's not any stone left unturned. So anyway, that's a lot. But you know, you're always going to have some cynic, some naysayer that's always going to try to make things seem like they were appropriate as this shooting was concerned. And one person responded to my video about the shooting in Akron, Ohio, and he said, what about black dysfunction and black crime? What about it? Black dysfunction and black crime is no more than white dysfunction and white crime. As a matter of fact, and I know most of us know this for a fact, statistically we know this as well, is that whites are treated better than blacks for the same or similar crimes, where whites get less punishment, less jail time, lesser fines, if any, than blacks for committing the same crimes. These are facts. So what about that? Disparaging evidence. What about the fact that white supremacists stole America from indigenous people who were already here? Why are you talking about black crime and black dysfunction? What about your ancestors, my friend, that stole this country from the people who were already living here and killed off many of them? What about white imperialism and white colonialism across the planet? What about white supremacist ideologies that had whites go over to the continent of Africa and kill thousands and thousands and thousands of native Africans for their natural resources, gold, silver, diamonds, and so forth? And many of them are still there and have even moved there because it is the motherland, rich in resources. What about those whites who have destroyed other cultures? Why are you talking about black crime and black dysfunction? What about that dysfunction? What about the fact that we had a white president, last name Bush, who invaded the country, supposedly over weapons of mass destruction? And right after 9/11 in the early 2000s, you know, they're supposed to be looking for Osama bin Laden, but they switched gears, or he switched gears and went after Saddam Hussein, saying that he had weapons of mass destruction. And once Colin Powell said, well, we don't find any, The UN inspectors don't find any weapons of mass destruction. He said, oh, we'll go on a humanitarian quest now because he's killing innocent men, women, and children. Stop. Saddam is now killing innocent men, women, and children over there, so we have to go on this rescue, so to speak. But weren't they killing men, women, and children in other countries like North Korea, like certain parts of Africa? He never went against those leaders. But why Saddam Hussein? Okay. Did it not register to many of us that for the approximate 3,000 people that we lost during 9/11 in New York, Twin Towers, did it not register that all of the carpet bombing that the United States military used and are deployed in Iraq killed over 100,000 innocent men, women, and children? But isn't that why we were supposed to be going there after there were no weapons of mass destruction? Go back and do your research. So did our president Bush, George W. Bush at the time, did he not invade a country and take it over and control ultimately his petroleum, his oil fields? Did that not happen? But you're talking about black criminals and black dysfunction. This is just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. American white supremacist ideology has been inflicting injury, harm, and death, tyranny all over this planet since its inception. So while you playing, don't talk about black crime and don't talk about black dysfunction when white dysfunction and crime far exceeds black crime and dysfunction. If you want to hear the truth. And you don't like what I'm saying, doesn't mean that what I'm saying is not the truth. You just don't like what I'm saying because it exposes you, not all whites, just a white supremacist. And there's a difference. My white friends, my white followers, those white activists, I love them all. But it's the white supremacist that all of this whole structure is built upon. Their ideology. It's what I don't have favor in. So now, what do you think about black crime and black dysfunction now, my friend? That person who posed that question. What about black dysfunction and crime? What about white dysfunction and crime that existed way before black dysfunction and crime? Blacks don't put drugs in black neighborhoods and weapons, guns in the black neighborhoods. White supremacist ideology puts it there to create a crime so that they can also create the solution, which is the killing of the black family. That's it. And that's all.